All you have to do is imagine me waking up in the morning and walking to the window, okay?
Okay. Okay.
It was the first good day in a long time. Even bald men took their kids for a walk. I put on the mamas and the papas, stood at the window seeing marvels. Dogs looked giggly, and the prick next door waved. And I found I was saying out loud, I must have done something good. I must have done something real good. This is a poem for the angel who was given the privilege of naming the color of grass and who jumped up and down on her chair, waving her hand and shouting, green, green, green. Oh, green. And this is about the life I would lead if I led the life I would lead. It's called a poem about my life. I would find the road and then the house, trying to look neat. Well, there you are, he'd say. Before we start, let's have some food. Blue water pot, red faces, and white arms. Pay for my time, I say. The other things don't count, materials and such. I have handwriting you can read. I'll show you if you want. So we would talk of price, my city fingers moving round the air, more tough than strong, making it seem to be right there already. We need it soon, he says, this very day. I nod to say I know, for he has sought me out. It was the name he heard, he says, when he went into town and asked. We sip at coffee with the bargain struck. They place a table near the well's green edge, and I line up my pens the way I do. The children come and watch me work, led by the boy who means to do it too. I let them stay, let them see it as it comes along, and hold it up, and since they're young, show them with what care I join the reason's edge, and how it fit, just snug and fine enough, and how it seemed one thing when first you looked, but when you looked again, it seemed another. Finishing as the children fooled around, the parents back, walking toward the well, ready to read, time enough to see, I'd hand it over and I'd watch his eyes, and he would read it out, and they would ooh and ah, and then he'd pass it round, and they would pick out best and next to best, and so, the boys all fine, the girls as grave as teachers, waiting to see it grow inside them, or to be of no account. They'd fall to quiet, looking one to one. I'll start over. They'd fall to quiet, looking one to one. I'd stand up then to go and we'd shake hands. I'd start across the yard in yellow light, turning to fix their gait, and not too shy, I'd call across the evening, tell your friends. Thank you.
Same place I found your phone number, scribbled like a cry for help on yellow brick of that alley behind the old Mission bar you and I both used to frequent when the bartenders had a heavy pour and heavy cleavage. You were, of course, one of those people I found on my pages before I saw you in the flesh. You were, of course, just a casual beginning, just 2 drinks too far to get home on your own, just a radiant body on this chilled night, and you'd never be a story for an epic scroll. You'd never be seated opposite my uncertainty in some couples therapy that lands at the end of our trail. Part 2, the in-between. 13 months into that trail, I thought that would only last a night. I found you'd only agree to couples therapy if it wasn't real therapy. Something you could tell yourself if it meant going to the downtown community center once a week for something called peer-based relationship review. Soon it was waving our heartbreak like white flags of surrender in front of a woman who kept wads of bubble gum beneath her clipboard as she watched us squabble. Soon it was me confessing before our non-therapist that I never meant to feel all this for you, that I only wanted to grasp your hand for the night, didn't know your palm would stay at the base of my being, like it's waiting for my weight to give way. Part 3, our end. I I found out you were fucking our non-therapist same way. Same way I found out the pipe burst the month before. Our elderly neighbor fanning herself as she sees me arrive and says, "You don't want to go in there right now." In spite of the warning, the sight of your bodies knotted together rushes at me like roaring water, and I'm soaked with sweat and surprise. I thought you cared for that woman as little as I did, but then again, I feel just as betrayed by her as by you. I see your fingers at her ear, and I remember all that I told her about how you give me chills and a stutter, about how hard it really is with a harpoon piercing my tongue, just to part my lips and say, I found love.
But your body is flesh and bone.
Start reading from the new book. I'd like to thank Nick for putting this out.
Can't hear you, sorry.
Okay. I'm going to first, I guess, start reading from Jack of Diamonds and the Queen of Spades. And actually, I like reading sometimes the last poem first. So I'll read that. It's called Here You'll Find a Picture of Every Object That Holds Meaning. For Cedar Sago. Cubit practice in the good book, Arcadian, utopian heart will. I recall fall, I remember December, giving you every assurance, no depression touches no range. Ivy, I can't remember just now. What else is needed to know? The diary of a nervous window, over April skies. I like to think there are golden strings. I fall asleep hanging quotes. Generations explode to the surface. 33 words on a rolling rock. Dead flower, candle, cup, wand. Stained glass foreshadow. Creative background. The novel that will constellate Howard Pyle. Wheel, brick, jack, bench.
Bad lover. Not too bad, just a bit more than medium, high medium on a good day. Not good though. I ain't got the nerve to brag on my pussy like them girls with the curved acrylic fingernails and blue hair, and I ain't got no blonde hair to be born with for my pussy to be a fantasy. I got high medium brown skin pussy. The hair ain't thin or straight, and the hole been ran through a medium amount of time. So it fits most just right. It gets wet just right. It tells me when he wants me to talk shit. It tells me how to run my fingers through his hair and how deep to scratch his back, but it don't find me when I'm lost, cause it's just pussy. It ain't me. If it was me, it will only be medium, so it wouldn't be right but half the time, and I'm right most of the time. But I can't do no splits. My pussy was born too old for that shit. It ain't gonna even try to tell me to put the ankle around the back of my head. This is medium pussy, so it only goes waist high. It'll turn around for you, but it's too shy to strip. It dance like a white girl from Utah. But it'll twist like a Kingston wind if you hit the God spot just right. Thought it was bad for a while though. It might as well blew up a preschool, as ashamed as I was of it. The hair grows too fast. Sometimes it gets too wet until all of a sudden it dries and won't get wet no more. Sometimes it goes on strike. And no matter how much the rest of me pleads, it says no, and I gotta find another way to entertain myself. Sometimes it makes me feel like the strongest woman in the world. But all the time, and I mean all the time, my pussy smells just like pussy. And I thought, since it was bad enough for the world to make a perfume for it, that it should be bad enough for me. But him, he drowns in my pussy. And he gets right serious about it too. And sometimes, when there ain't no condoms, because my pussy can't relax without latex, he gets nervous. And my pussy loves the way he falls inside, almost like he jumping from a plane into a city of pillows. His face looked like he just took 2 Oxycontin the moment he enters in. My pussy tells him to whisper sweet things in my ear and to remind me I'm pretty. Sometimes she tells him to scream my name and how good she is, and oh, how he listens to my sweet pussy. And he screams and screams how good she is. And red and sweat come over his whole body till he looks like a confused child. Surrendering a momentary allegiance to me that even he can't understand. Giving me a face so mixed with anger and pain and hurt, with pleasure sprinkled. A face my pussy hugs and nods yes to. A face that wide opens aside to him so secret, his own mama don't even know about.